Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of You Gotta Eat. And today I have a very special guest, Mr. Kevin Kelly, who's a good friend of mine. He's gonna help me create one of my favorite dishes, my Porcini Mushroom Risotto. I am a real estate agent by day, and I'm a wannabe chef on my spare time. So come on back and I'm gonna show you how I make this delicious dish.
It'll be fun. Hang in.
So Mr. Kevin Kelly,
What's up, Oriana?
You're the only person I call by your first name and your last
I
name.
know.
Mr. Kevin Kelly.
Yeah.
So we've made this before, and we've had some fun.
So here's the great thing. I have to start dating, and so Oriana, being kind of this Italian mother, but she's not old enough to be my mother. So let's just go with sister.
Yeah, no.
And so she says, you got to know how to cook something. Like you can't. Your sparkling personality isn't going to get you that far. So she comes to my house and she teaches me how to do this, and I could do it. Okay, so that means you could do it. So just listen to her. I'm going to do the most important thing. I'm going to get the wine. Okay, there you go.
Okay, while he's getting the wine, which is probably the smallest ingredient of the whole dish, I'm gonna start by sauteing some chopped onions. This is one probably large sweet onion, so we're gonna start with that. We'll get our olive oil in the pan.
This portion of the cooking thing, I have down. This is very simple. You put a little wine in yourself, then maybe there's an overflow and you put it in the food. It seems like a thing.
So I like to cook the onion down to bring out the sweetness. I don't like the onion crunchy in the risotto. Once it heats up, we're gonna drop the heat and let it do its thing for a few minutes. Okay, while the onions are cooking, you're gonna chop the garlic.
There you go.
I'm really excited to do that. The porcini mushrooms, you buy them, it's very hard to find them fresh. So dried porcini mushrooms are fine. They come in a 0.5 ounce package in your grocery store. Sometimes you have to go to a specialty grocery store, but most of the times you can find them in a normal grocery store. So we're gonna rehydrate the porcini mushrooms while the onions are cooking and while your sous chef is chopping garlic.
So when I rehydrate, it's enormous amounts of water. Same thing?
So I don't use water.
Oh, look at you, okay.
I use chicken broth because you're gonna be cooking the risotto with chicken broth. So it just gives it a little bit more flavor, and you just wanna put the chicken broth in enough to cover the mushrooms. I'm just gonna cover them like that. And we're gonna put this over here. And what I have back here on the stove is the broth that we're gonna use for the risotto. So it's very important that your chicken broth is hot when you're making your risotto. So that's already been heated up, and that's about 6 to 8 cups of chicken broth, just because you don't want to run out. It's okay if you have some left over. And then we're gonna keep an eye on the porcini mushrooms. As soon as the porcini mushrooms start to boil, you're gonna turn the pot off, or turn the flame off, and just let it seep in the hot liquid, okay? So I'm chopping up crimini mushrooms and shiitake mushrooms, which we're going to put in with the onions next. So Bobby Flay, look away, here we go again. A real chef would probably recommend cooking the mushrooms separately. I've never done it that way. I'm showing you how I make this dish, right or wrong. After the onions are cooked down, I will put the mushrooms in and we'll get that going. So we're gonna add the chopped garlic. So there's about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic chopped up that he's putting in right now. And if you want the recipe, you can always find the recipes for these videos on orianashea.com at my website. Under the resource section, there is a page for all the recipes. So sell your house, get a recipe, all good.
Wow, like I have a spoon. Okay, good.
Look at you go. Just gonna put this in a bowl to make it easier to transport it over to the stove. A lot of recipes cook the mushrooms separately and then put them in the middle of the cooking process of the arborio rice. I don't do it that way. So there. I'm just adding a little bit of olive oil as I go because we're going to put the rice in a minute. Just want to make sure that nothing is sticking to the bottom too much. Okay, so arborio is the rice you want to use when you're making risotto. This is just one brand. We're gonna put in about 1.5 to 2 cups, depending on how many people you're entertaining. Okay, so we're here. We've got the risotto in with the mushrooms and the onions and garlic. What you want to do is you want to coat the mushrooms. As soon as you see the grains of the arborio rice start to get a little translucent, that's when you're ready to put your first liquid in, which is your white wine. About a cup of wine.
That's enough. I'll take care of the wine.
And then you want to drop your heat down to a low heat, because this is a very slow cooking dish. This is not something that you're gonna make in a hurry. And as the liquid absorbs, we're gonna start feeding in the hot broth. This is gonna take a little bit because, again, as I said, it's slow cooking, so we wait for the liquid to evaporate, and then we put in another ladle and a half of the hot chicken broth. Once this gets about halfway done, that's when we're going to put in our porcini mushrooms. So we're gonna take the porcini mushrooms now out of its liquid. We're gonna let it cool down. We're going to strain the mushrooms out of the liquid, chop them up, and add them to the risotto when, as I said before, when the risotto is about halfway cooked. Then we're gonna take the reserved liquid, do not throw this liquid away, and we're gonna put it through like a cheesecloth and strain it and add it to the risotto for extra flavor. No, you do not, you are not putting, nope, go away. We're gonna do a little salt and pepper, okay? We're gonna put in
Butter.
about 2 good healthy tablespoons of butter. So the last steps of this is about 1/2 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, which we have already ready. And then we're gonna finish it at the end after we've turned the heat off, and right before serving, we're gonna garnish it with some fresh chopped Italian parsley. Voila! We have porcini mushroom risotto. Thank you for watching another episode of You Gotta Eat. If you want the recipe, please go to orianashea.com. In the resource section, you will find the recipe under recipes. Thanks again. Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And don't forget to like, subscribe, or comment down below. Bye for now, and bon appetit.